Welcome to the Bad Bitch Revolution. I'm Selene, your host. I'm also the owner of HBIC Coaching. You can find me on Instagram there. Each episode's going to be pretty much a chaotic feral goddess mess, but I hope you enjoy. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hey guys, welcome back to the Bad Bitch Revolution. I am Selene and I'm here today with the beautiful Leeza, and we're just gonna get into it. Leeza, tell us what makes you such a baddie.
Well, I'd like to thank my mother for birthing
Love
me into
that.
this world. My mom, who's also my fellow Virgo, she's a great woman. She's, been through a lot, but through her, I've learned how to navigate through this life, and I'm just taking it one day at a time, and I'm thankful for all the talent and ability that I have and to be here today.
Yes, I love that. I always love a good mom story because, like, I don't have like a good mom story. So, like, whenever anybody else has a good mom story, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I love that.
It wasn't always that way.
That's so great. Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. I mean, I'll say that like my relationship with my mom is not as strained as it used to be for sure, but it's still very like arm's length. Like she did ask me what my podcast was about, and I was like, ma'am, you don't need to know. That's not necessary.
Don't listen. You'll hear about
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so great. So one of the things that I know we have talked about before, like just in messages, is like coaching and the coaching industry and all of that. And I know that you're a new coach. So I'm really curious, like, what in your life made you realize that coaching was your calling?
I think a lot of it stemmed from trauma and going to counseling and therapy to work through those things. But also in my life, I've always been a career kind of girly, which has its ups and downs. I was always climbing those ladders, and along the way I was really into leadership and teaching people and showing them ways. And like I said, I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, you are so capable. That is who I am at the end of the day. I just love to bring the best out in people when they want it, because in therapy, my therapist was like, not everyone is you. Not everyone wants good, big, ginormous things and has all these goals at the end of the day. So I spent a lot of time with a lot of staff, and I was like, I really love this leadership role, and I wanted to transition out of marketing. And I said, you know what, coaching is, I think, up my alley. I had been doing coaching with powerful marketers, and my mentor just inspired me to kind of give back the way that she gave to me.
Yeah, that's great. That's so awesome. I feel like we have like this same, like, well, not same, like, but very similar story where it's like therapy is kind of like where it became apparent to me that like leading and hyping people up was very much needed. Someone sent me an Instagram story one day, like a couple months ago, where it was like, sometimes you're like, I can't remember the exact thing, and so this is probably not going to make any sense when I say it now, but like sometimes like you become like the big sister that you needed. And so I think that for me is like where I am, is like during my healing journey, like I didn't really have anybody to like kind of champion for me. I was separated from my friends, so like I didn't have the same type of support system. Obviously I had my therapist, but it was very much like I'm just kind of doing this by myself. And so as I'm moving through that, I'm still like trying to help people, but I'm not sure like what that looks like. I just am like writing a blog and being like, this is a day in the life of a imperfect bipolar goddess, you know? And my very first therapist was like, your job is going to be accounting, but your career is going to be helping people. And again, I'm like, okay, but what does that mean? So like, I didn't even know that coaching, I was like, I feel like you're being as cryptic as my Oracle deck. So like, what's happening?
Just tell me.
Yes. So like finally, like I got really into it, and then I kind of got burned by a coach myself. And so I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is so nasty. Like, I don't want to be that person. But last year, like there was a lot of life transitions and things that happened. And I was like, no, I was like, I am absolutely needed to speak to this. Like, people need to hear these things. And so that's why I was like, we're doing this, but we're going to do this my way. Like, we're going to truly be who we are. And the thing that I love about communicating with you is because I feel like a lot of coaches are in competition with each other. Like,
Mm.
we all can't get clients. And I'm just like, I was like, Leeza is like the nicer version of me. So if you don't want to be cussed out in a coaching session, please, here, Leeza will be
Sometimes
able to
that
have you.
tough
She'll
love
do the
is
exact,
warranted.
yes. I just, it was funny because before I shut everything down last year, it was very much like, nobody was doing any of the action steps. Like, I was like holding hands, and I realized that, like, I was like, I don't want to hold anybody's hand. And not to say that like there's anything wrong with it, but like for me personally, that's not how I show up. And so I needed to find people who were ready for like the hard truths. But there's different ways to say the hard truths. And like, you will say things that are like so profound. And I'm just like, meanwhile, I would have been like, bitch, stop acting like that.
But I think there's a time and a place for that. Absolutely. Like, I think it's who with who you're coaching with. There are some people that need the like nice drawn out long explanation of things, whereas other people just need to hear it how it
Yeah,
is, you know. And I think there's place for both of us in this industry, and I never
there
understood the
is.
competition aspect of it. I think this stems back to my marketing career, where it was like there were people around me that felt intimidated by my youth and the things that I'm capable of. And to me, I'm just like, we're a team. We're a team, you know, and
Yeah,
if we partner up and I'm
exactly.
coaching you, we're a team. I don't get where that comes from. For me, the coaching industry has given me a really huge ick. And for the same reason, I feel like there are people that they there's these gurus everywhere and they know it all and they, had one viral post and now they have the authority to tell us how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just think that everyone's journey is unique. I don't think there's a right way for anything. I'm very much a take it
Yeah.
as it comes kind of gal. And we go from
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah. I like, I told you this before, like my marketing strategy is feral goddess. Like whatever we get is what we get,
It's
but
working.
I think, yeah, I don't know how, but like, my current
Don't
therapist, she
question
was
it.
like, your
It's
people,
working.
yeah, my people were waiting for me. And like, it feels like that's what it was, is that like, finally it was time for me to like show up in this capacity. But
Hmm.
I had followed so many of the rules before and like the shoulds and whatever. And like when I thought about it, I was like, that's not who you are. Like you don't follow shoulds and woulds, and you don't follow like the exact same thing. Like I love looking at other strategies and stuff like that and seeing what other people are doing. But I'm always like, okay, so I know this is working for them, but how can I do this in a way that's true to me? And so I've learned to adapt everything that like I've learned and seen to work for the way that I want to show up in my business.
Hmm.
And like, but every time I see everything that you post, I was like, she's such an organized queen. I just
Thank you so much because it is chaotic up here. I'm telling you, I have to write things down. I have to put things on a calendar or a schedule or on a sticky
mm-hmm.
note. Like the amount of writing utensils I have and notebooks full of things it's madness. It's like the Charlie Day meme where he's like all crazy on the wall connecting all the dots.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I like to feel like I know what I'm going to say. I think that was a huge part of
Mm-hmm.
actually just my journey. I talked about this recently about how you don't need to react to everything. And I feel like even in
Yeah.
business, we don't have to react to everything. Oh, that didn't work. It didn't work. We try something new. Or that worked. Great. Let's run with it. So yeah, that's just how we roll.
Right. And it's really important to, just like with anything in life, it's like, do do what needs to be done, but
Hmm.
like do it in a way that makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
And when things don't work out, it's okay. Like it's not like you didn't fail. Like let's just take a look back, because I do this a lot in my coaching, is like people are like, well, I didn't do it right, or like it failed, or it didn't work. And I'm like, okay, well, let's evaluate what happened, what we did, and let's see what did work, and then we'll use that information to move forward and make a different plan and realize that like XYZ didn't work, but ABC did work. And I try to show up that way a lot of times just in my business in general. I think that I've like rebranded 18 times since September, and I'm totally okay with that. But I also know that like the gurus are like, have consistent branding and start out with this. I was like, literally, I don't think that these people give two shits right now if I decide to, but I had to just pick something because if I didn't, I was going to like, it was going to be 8 months before I posted my first thing. Like, I just had to pick something that felt sort of aligned. And I finally am feeling a lot more clear on my vision and everything within the business. So I now have like new templates that in when I start doing posts in April, they'll be out there and they are perfect for like the vibe that I feel and that I want to go in. But I mean, my messaging hasn't changed though, you know?
And that's
Um,
the whole point,
yeah,
really, you know. So I feel like you know who you are there, and who cares if you change up your
yeah,
branding. I always say do it to
right.
it feels right, you know.
See, and I just see, but this is why I just adore you because you're just like, just do whatever works. Okay. Don't worry about what those people say.
Yes, honestly, they're all saying the same thing at this point. So for me, I'm that was like me coming into things. I was like, I did fall kind of into that where I'm like, okay, they're structuring their posts like this. They're talking about this, and it to me, it just felt hollow. It didn't feel like it resonated with me, and I want the stuff that I'm putting out to resonate with me, but also other people. I don't want to be like copy
Mhm.
paste. And I feel like there's a lot of that here. And that's actually why I was so drawn to you because I was like, bad bitch revolution, head bitch in charge. Yes, I'm all for it. You know, like it's kind of like you said, there's no filter to it. And I love that because I feel like a lot of coaches now are so filtered because they're saying the same things. They're not really showing who they are. And you come full picture, ready to rumble, bitch, get in line, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's so funny you say that. I actually got a newsletter today from a coach that helps business people, and she was talking about main character syndrome, and like basically it was kind of alluding to like the loudest people, are heard and stuff like that, but it doesn't connect with your people. And I'm just like, I can just say that that is not necessarily true. Like, yes, there are people who are just loud and like stuck in main character syndrome and it's all about them or whatever. But my goal is it's why I use boudoir pictures. People don't understand why those are my pictures when I do any marketing of myself. But the reason I use those is because it is raw. I'm half naked. Like, let's be real. Like, I'm half naked. Like, I'm showing up in my most vulnerable state. And I truly feel like if I don't show up vulnerable, if I don't show up truly realistic, I'm not going to be able to get people to feel comfortable shedding all of those walls so that I can help them. So I'm not, I mean, you're never going to see a crying selfie of me on the internet. I just, I can't do it.
Good.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I think it was my nutritionist. She was like, you know who does that? 12-year-olds. And I was like,
Yes.
I can assure you that she was not 12, but whatever. So, but it's like, but I will be like, oh, you guys, I have bawled my eyes out. I am stressed. This is what's going on. But these are the things that like I'm feeling and going through to try to work through it. And I think that's so important is that one, for us to give enough of who we are that we're comfortable with, and then enough to where people can understand your story. Because if they don't understand your story, because they're not buying your coaching, they're buying you. And this is who I am, and I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. Like, that did take me a long time because I was like, but I want to make everybody happy. But I
Yes.
think that's why, yeah, I think that's why when I was coaching before, like, it didn't work because I was trying to like please everybody. And I'm not saying like I'm like niching down to like a specific thing per se, but it's more just like whoever shows up, and then the people who don't show up, I don't get upset about. Like, I just wasn't for them. And that's okay. Like, that's their right. I'm not begging you guys to work with me. And I don't beg anyone to work with me. I'm very upfront. I'm very honest. Like, I don't like DMing people first. I'm
Yeah.
always like, even if like they said specifically they were interested, please send me a message whenever you're ready. It feels like they have the power, and that's what I want. Like, I don't want them to feel like I'm going to be in their inbox or their DMs like bugging them about stuff. Like, here's what I have, here's what's going on, here's how I can help you, let me know what you think. And then if I never hear from them again, okay, that's fine. Maybe they weren't ready. I have one client, love her to death. She like disappeared. And so I was like, crap, are my emails going to spam again? Like, what is happening? And so I just wanted to check in on her, not necessarily because like I cared if she was going to have another session, but more like,
Are
you
you
okay,
alive?
babe? Yeah. And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I was like, "No, we don't apologize for life happening. Like, we don't apologize. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And just to let you know, I'm still here for you. Like, you're still on my books. Your spot is still saved. Just let me know when you're ready. We'll reconvene." And I think that's super important for people to kind of like, when they're looking for coaches, is like, how much are they like bothering me? And, you know, I'm not a pushy person at all. I'm just like, here you
And that was
go.
kind of like something I experienced when I first got into coaching. I was like, I want to get a coach first and kind of go through the motions and
Yeah.
have this guidance. And before I found my mentor, I was meeting up with all these coaches and it was very pushy. There was like times where it was like a group of people and they're like, so went through this long old meeting to be at the end like it cost $5,000. It's an outrageous amount of money, and I think that's also like another ick for me is like I don't do this to take advantage of people or to do it for money. I do it because I genuinely care. And you had said
Mm-hmm.
earlier it was time to show up in this capacity, and I relate to that so much because I've always felt like, I wasn't seen when I was younger or even just in life. I always
Yeah.
felt like I had to be put on instead of just being who I was.
Same.
And I think that that's super important to put in your brand. And you said, this is what works for me. And that's what I love about you is because it's authentic. This is what you're getting with Selene. Whereas all these other coaches, I look at them and I'm like, they're all saying the same thing. They all have the same system, and I
Mm-hmm.
like the off the rails kind of approach to things. I feel like we're too safe these days. We need to
Oh, yes.
give it some oomph.
It's really, I don't like pushing people out of their comfort zone. Like, because I don't want to come out of my comfort zone unless it's something I 1000% want to do. Like, doing this podcast, it put me outside of my comfort zone, but I was like, I really do want to do it, but I'm not going to put myself out of my comfort zone for like the CEO position of like some business for someone else, like, you guys, no, I don't want that. But I like to stretch people. I definitely like to stretch people, and it's still uncomfortable, but it allows you to move in an aspect that is your timeline. We can stop at a certain point until we regulate our bodies and feel a little bit more comfortable just going the next step. But I never want people to feel stressed out when they're working with me.
Yes.
Um,
It defeats the
my
purpose at the end of the
client that I
day.
was talking about earlier, right, right. We had started with something, and then like when we did reconvene, some other shifts had happened, and I was like, okay, I was like, we're going to circle back to that a little bit later, but right now, in order for you to get to where you want, this is what needs to be your focus. And a lot of it too, a lot of our conversation surrounded about kind of her like stretching a little, not being so scared. But it wasn't like, I told her, I was like, you're just going to have to go get a corporate job. You're going to have to do this or you're going to have to do that. It was very much like, this is what I suggest. I was like, let me send you some resources so you don't have to do this. And that's what it should be. It shouldn't be this blueprint that you follow and use for every single person. Like, for the longest, I didn't want to do the membership because I do really like working one on one with people. But the way that I've set the membership up is in a capacity to where, yes, you all are getting the same information, but also they have opportunities to ask specific questions, and I can offer them suggestions how to tailor it specifically to the way they learn, to the way they move, all of that. And I think that's so important. Like you said, it's just we do it because we care. We want to make a living, but like we're not the six figure coaches, and they're like, I am a six figure and seven figure, and
Oh no,
I'm just like, I'm
no.
really happy for you, like that's great, like, but I don't need six figures. Like, don't get me wrong, if I won the lottery, I'm okay with that, but like, I'm not in this to make millions of dollars. And if I did at some point make millions of dollars, it's not going to like go all into my pocket. It's going to go into training more, learning more ways I can help people, changing my marketing so that I can reach more people, hiring people into an environment where they don't get burned out. It's like, I don't care what your resume says. What do you want to do? And if you have no experience in that, fine, whatever. I'll help. I'll pay for classes so that you can do that, because I didn't know originally that I wanted to be in leadership. I didn't know that like I wanted to lead something in like a business capacity. And like I always say that I hate it because I don't like to be like the executive decision and the final thing, but I do know that sometimes it has to, yeah, it has to happen. But
That's that
I always
comfort
like
zone.
my yeah, yeah. It really is.
Yes.
But my vision is like, if I could employ people, what does that look like for them? Because I've been working since I was 15, so I've been in
Same.
different arenas. Like, yeah. And it's like, we know what that corporate environment is like. And I was like, no, I was like, you know what? Susan, you want to be a marketing person, but you have no marketing background. Let's find some courses for you to get your stuff together. You can play around and we can work together and see if it aligns. And if it doesn't, no big deal. This is the deadline. If you feel like that's not good enough, like you need more time, cool, let me know so we can make adjustments for that. It's important to me for people to really have the space to do things. And I think a lot of people in leadership should not be in leadership because
There's a
they're
big
not willing to
difference
pick up this.
between
Yes.
leadership and management. Leading and managing is completely different. I think the lines got crossed somewhere. I'm sure we could all
Nowhere.
reflect back on that manager we had that made us quit, or, we just
Yeah,
hated going to work.
right. Yeah, I just, and people need to be able to take a day off and not have to have fear around it. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, if you just wake up one morning and be like, I can't today, okay, cool. You have just like 5 minutes to let me know what you were working on so I can either do it myself or see if someone else is available, because that's how it should be. Um, I actually did, talk with someone and they were like, are you sure? Is it okay? Dude, I honestly do whatever you want. Okay. Like, this is just when I need it by. Like, if you can't do it, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to be mad. Just communicate with me. And I think that's the most important thing that is with any type of leadership, is to make sure that we treat people like people. And I think that's why I show up in my coaching the way that I do, because these are not just clients. They're people. They're
They're
people who have
people.
real
Yes.
stories, real issues. And I think that's why I was drawn to you too, is because you genuinely care. Like, I can read it in your messaging, I can see it in your post, I can see it when you show up. And I'm not like, I don't get the ick from you. I don't. Like,
Thank God. I when
I
I
think
first started this, I was afraid of that. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna end up just like these people. I'm gonna fall into that loop." And I think it's super important because that's not who I am authentically. I am this person, and I think it's important when you're online and on social media to not get sucked into those things, because it's not real at the end of the day.
No,
And I think that's
it's
the
not.
biggest disconnect for me, is it's not real. And I just don't like that. We're all human beings. We're all feeling things. We're all going through something. We all want things. You know, what works for you?
Yeah.
What do you want? Who are you at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And I think who are you resonates with a lot of people, because we have our generational beliefs, we have our limiting beliefs. And, I think when we could break those down, we come into that authenticity. And that's the space I want to hold for people. And that's how I want to show up
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah. And, you know, boundaries are something I didn't have previously, like in
Mm.
coaching. And so I was not kidding around with my boundaries. I was like, I need a separate phone so that, my clients can text me there, but like there's expectations of like when I'll get back to them. A lot of times I get back immediately, but also like there is the set expectation that that may not always be the case. And I never offer more availability than I have the capacity for. I spoke with Lauren on her podcast a few weeks ago. We talked about, lazy as a strategy, and I love her for that. But she always
Oh.
takes the last week of every month off. And I decided, I was like, every month at the beginning of the month, when it's time for me to ask my VA for all the things that I need, I'm like,
Need a week
I
off.
don't know yet.
End of the month week
So
off.
I was like, yes, I was like, that's when I need to plan like what I need. So like if she has questions, but also in the beginning, like I was still getting my feet wet and she was still like learning, the business, but she's been phenomenal. And we're in such a good groove now. We're in such a good place that like we're so ahead. We're so ahead of the game. Like I've got my themes already like planned out for like the months, and it feels so much better. And there was something that she hadn't worked on yet this month, and it was the 8th of March. And I said, girl, it is the 8th of March. Like, we have time. Because she was going to work over the weekend. And I'm like, only work over the weekend if you were already going to work on the weekend. But please do not do that because you told me you were going to do it. Let this be a Monday problem, you know?
Right. And that's
um,
one thing for me too, like
yeah.
being freelance, like I was working, burning the midnight oil, constantly going. And I got to a point where I was like unhappy, with doing the things
Mm-hmm.
that I love to do. I think time off is super important. I was doing every Wednesday, and that would be my day that I go to therapy. That would be the day that I took out for self care. I think taking time off and disconnecting is super important. I'm like, I might have to look into this week off at the end of the month, because you're onto something here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm still in my full time job. So it's like I am overwhelmed with that nonsense on a day-to-day basis. So like I had to like I'm like, okay, how can I still show up in my business and not burn myself out from that capacity? Because I did. I don't know if you saw the post back in February where I was like, my body shut down and I'm like, I can't do anything. But it was my body's way of being like, girl, you need to slow down. Like, it's gonna be okay. And like, I have such high expectations for myself, but the people that are in my corner, the people that have supported me, they were like, the expectation that we have for you is not that high. Like, you're upfront about, like, with the membership, they're like, you're upfront about this being new. You're upfront about this being, we're helping you figure it out. So, like, don't stress out about making this perfection because that's the whole point of me beta testing things. And so I'm kind of excited because I'm working on the next course for the membership. And so I'm almost done with my sales page. But initially, like, I was
Yes.
just like chugging it out and making copy. And then I was like, I'm so tired. So I broke it down into pieces. I was like, just focus on one thing at a time. And so there's that, it's like you have to really look at you have to look at your desires. You have to look at your dreams. You have to look at your want and find a way to do them without overwhelming yourself because you're still going to get it.
As we set
And if
boundaries
anybody,
with people, we have to set them with ourselves too. Especially someone like me,
exactly.
like I said, I will work through it. I will keep going. And then I'll get to the point where I'm like,
Yes.
I don't want to do a damn thing. I cannot be bothered.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
though, you have those worries of things not working out. And when I first started doing things, I had the same worries. But now I just welcome that failure. I'm like, things are either going to work out or they're not, and I'm going to learn from it and then I'll be better from it. But that fear is
Yeah.
so crippling sometimes.
It really is. One of the people that is helping with the piloting of the membership, it was so funny when she finally got in there and she was like, "This looks so professional." And I was like, "Don't lie to me." And it's not the best.
But
But
lie to me
then
some more.
also, she was like, but then she was also like, I kind of forgot about it because I didn't get a reminder. And I was like, "Oh, shoot. I didn't even think about that." And like initially I was like freaked out, like, oh my God, I failed. But then I was like, no, this is the whole point of like giving them a free trial, like giving them the opportunity to like test it out and let you know what does and doesn't work. So I spent a pretty penny on a new system because I don't know if you're like this, but it's the manifesting generator in me. I
That's
just like
me
to do everything. You too? Oh my God.
too. Yep.
So
Same.
like I just I just do things and I don't set up systems. I don't set up a framework. And then I get to a point where I'm like overwhelmed. I'm like, this isn't working.
It's
So
a
I spent a
vicious
pretty
cycle,
penny.
I tell you. It is so
It's just
vicious. But you know what? I like I said, there are some things where I'm like, I will plan the heck out of this, and there are some things where I'm like, I just need to take that as it comes. I just need to see where the dice are gonna roll and where they're gonna land, and what may be will be.
exactly. I really I I'm good at organizing everyone else, but I'm not good at organizing myself, and that's
Oh,
just the way that it
yes,
is in my life. Uh,
yes, hard relate.
um, it's just it's so bad. And the new software allows me to house the membership on my website so I don't have to worry about like it being on Circle or anything. And then it has like the funnel system set up for me. I just have to change the copy, I just have to change the images, and then I have to put my pricing in there. But I also looked at what it would look like for like the member experience. Oh, it's so much better. It'll be so much easier for them because that's a big thing for me. Like, I don't want things to be hard, and
Right.
nobody's going to take a course that's difficult to manage because I'm not going to take a course that's difficult to
Or
manage.
do anything.
Um,
As a coach, like I feel like now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this as easy as possible for you.
yes,
Because and even just when
yes,
I was in retail, I was like, we gotta make it as easy as we can for the customer. We gotta make it easy because people just they don't want to work too
exactly.
hard.
No, no. And that's okay. I think that's good. I
Hey,
think that the fact that like people are just like, I'm not going to stress myself out over this. And so I'm like, that's, you know what? I love that. Please keep that energy. Let's
mm.
figure out how to make this easy for you. And that's
And
so
I love that
important
you're
for
so
me when I'm working
transparent
with
about
people.
it as well with people. Like not a lot of coaches are like that. They're just kind of winging it. They're not open about the process or anything. Like me, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
new. This is a journey we're on together.
Yeah. Yeah. And but the thing that I love about that, and I'm going to need you to stop saying that you're a new coach. Stop doing that. I am flourishing. Okay.
I'm a
But I'm not
flourishing
quite fully
coach.
there. Yes.
Yes.
There
Amen.
you go. But I think that's just the thing. We put so much pressure on ourselves to do all of these things. And it's like, settle down, bitch. Just settle down.
Yeah. Take a seat. Kick off your shoes. Chill out.
Yes. Yes. It's so funny because we can, and this is just probably true for everyone. Like I'm sure that everyone is like this. You can give the best advice and all of that to everyone else, but yourself, you're just like, no, I have to do this. And yeah. So a lot of times, like, I have a friend, she started with me in the coaching program that we both got certified in. And so like we've just become like really good friends. And so there are days where like we're letting those limiting beliefs kick in, we're letting, fear take over. And so I was like, I need you to HBIC me. I just do it. Like, just rip off the band aid. Tell me like it is. I need somebody to tell me to shut the fuck up.
You need that tough love. I'm sick of myself.
Exactly. Yes. I'm like, I am so annoying right now. Somebody tell me to knock it off. But, and the other thing is too, is like I just want to support you. Like I want to hold space for you as like you're going through this journey, because I just remember the 17 times that I've tried to do this and all the things that like for me personally that didn't work. And so if you run into something that's similar, I'd be like, okay, so I did this and it might work for you. It didn't work for me for these reasons, but it might work for you, because I want you to win. When one of us wins, we all win. And I can't wait to see you being like the baddest bitch in the entire world on this coaching platform, being like, my books are full. I'm just, I've got the most fantastic clients, and then they're saying all these wonderful things about me. And I want that for you and like
Yes,
anybody else. It's so I hate
it's
competition, but
mutual.
that's society's. Yeah, it's just I think both you and I are like the same on the society thing too, which is kind of like how we show up in it too. Like, stop doing what other people tell you to do.
Yes, my whole thing is like we're human beings. Let's stop pretending. And I think we get caught up in all these like societal expectations and then we forget who
Yeah,
we are. We forget that we're human and then we end up burnt out or we end up sad or angry at the world. And I just think there's life is too short. There's too much absolute nonsense going on in this world. No,
yeah.
live for you because at the end of the day that's all you got.
It's oh God, yes. It's a dumpster fire outside. So why would I add to that by like being serious all the time? Like my therapist is just kind of like, you have to remember other people aren't ready to like not take themselves serious. Other people aren't ready for that. And
God, that's a hard
I
lesson,
know
isn't
that
it?
there's I know
I'm like, what do
I'm
you mean not
girl
everyone thinks like me? What do
they
you
need to
mean?
be, because I'm tired of their shit. And like growing up, when I was in school, I was very quick to learn things, and so like I was always ready to move on to the next thing. I hated when people asked questions, and I just was, my parents used to be like, not everybody is at the same level of intelligence of you, but they should be. I don't understand. Like, help me help them. Like, what do you need? Okay. Like, because
That
I
why
am ready to
not is hard
go.
to understand. It's like,
Yeah.
why not?
But then I had to realize, I was like, that's actually okay that there's other people that are not like on the same level as you, because as I grew and became a less shitty person, I realized that there there are things I'm not great at. And mind you, like I still don't like it. I'm like, but I should be. But I understand and accept that I need somebody else that's better in this realm than me. It's just not, yeah,
We
it's
share
just
that.
not my thing.
We share that
Um
absolutely. It was a wake up call. I was like, but why don't like I've always been the person to like let's do this. You could be so great. Things could be so great, and like
yeah.
it's just a hard reality that not everyone wants that. I'm like, but what does that mean? Like, for me, it was a hard concept because I'm like, but everybody should strive for greatness, and it's just that there are people that don't want that, and that is okay. I had to learn that that was okay and to not be so pushy. If you want this, great, I'm here for you. But if you don't,
Yep.
that's fine. I still hold space for you. I still love you, and I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's I think that's kind of the difference between, your idea of coaching and like other people's, is that there's this sense of bullying. Like if you're not ready to pay that price, it's like, okay, well then you're not ready to elevate. Maybe they would like to
Right.
eat, keep a roof over their heads, you know.
Exactly.
Like
Not everyone could
I
just
what?
jump off the deep end.
Yeah.
And I feel
It's
like when people
and it's
talk
like,
about like getting out of their comfort zone, that's what it feels like to them. Like they're just jumping off their deep end. But for like people like me and you, I'm like, no,
mhm,
we'll take this one step at a time. We do one thing at a
right.
time. Do a course, whatever's going to help you get there slowly but surely. We don't need to just
Yeah.
dive right into the deep end with all the sharks. We take this, we
Yeah.
go to the kiddie side of the pool, we sit there for a bit, we soak up the sun, we learn.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you have to move. in your own way. And this goes back to, tailoring to the person that you're coaching, tailoring the person that
Yes.
you're holding space for. Everybody is not on the same level. And you just said, some people don't want greatness. It's just the same as like, some people don't want like a fancy mansion. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I am like, I don't want that much house to clean. Okay. Like, am I saying that my 4 bedroom ranch with a basement is not gonna I'm still gonna get a housekeeper because I just can't clean because I was never taught how to break that down into steps so I get overwhelmed? No. But what I am saying is that I would feel terrible asking someone to clean a house that has 7 bedrooms, 8 baths, a huge kitchen, and it's like, I know that that's what they do and they're willing to do it. But like my housekeeper now, like I gave her so many tasks this last time and I felt so bad. She's like, it's fine. And I was like, I know, but I normally don't ask you to do these things. And
I know it's your job,
I
but it
feel like
still hurts to ask for help.
And I think too, you know, with my virtual assistant, I treat her with respect because I'm not the boss of her. And like, even if she wasn't like a contractor and like she was like an employee, still not the boss of her. Like, so when I need something, I'm like, do you have the capacity to add this in? Like, do we have an extra hour that we can add on to what we've already done? Are you comfortable doing this? And like, she is just absolutely fantastic. I adore her. She actually had me do like a testimonial, is like a video testimonial. And she was like, I would recommend you to the world. Okay. But also not because I don't need you to have not enough time for me. But it's, again, treat people with respect, treat
Mm-hmm.
people as human beings. Make sure that you're not, it's almost like ownership. That's what I
Yeah.
feel like it is with managers. Like they own you and like, so you have to do this because that's what they said. And I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yes. It is. It is ugly. And like, even just, I think about when I was in corporate and I was being trained by the person above me, but I was the manager, he'd be like seeing all these requests for times off and he'd be like, no, 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 no. And that's how I was taught. And so I was like, okay, I can't approve anything, but as it went on, I was like, this is ridiculous because even I can't take time off. And it's
Right.
silly because we're all just humans and we shouldn't be a slave to work at all. I think that
No.
the working system here in America is so backwards. Like we need those 4-hour work
So
days.
backwards.
It's too much.
Well, in
And it keeps people
I'm pretty
stuck.
efficient. Oh, so stuck.
So
I'm
stuck.
so efficient in certain things that like a task that might take someone else 8 hours or like is supposed to take 8 hours, I might be able to get it done in 4 to 6. And like that's not a brag. That's just because like the way that I see it is that I am lazy. So I am trying to do the least amount of work, but get it done correctly in the least amount of time. I
It's
don't
not
want to
lazy.
be
It's work smarter, not harder. I'm the same exact way. It's like
yeah,
I'm going to charge you for an hour, but I'm going to get it done in 15 minutes. And that's just on experience. That's what you get from me.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. When I did bookkeeping, a lot of things took me so little time. Like I was just autopilot. It was so easy. And so, you still have to pay the rate because that's what we agreed to. But like, you'll also have time to add something else if you need it because
Hmm.
that's the whole point. But, I have my vision. I have, my mission statement now. I have my values. And I just know the time frame as to when I'm transitioning from being in corporate to doing this full time. And I'm envisioning like the days where I can just be like, that's a tomorrow problem because I woke up, it's not a thing today. I started yesterday with a migraine and a sinus headache because it's spring and my sinuses are a migraine trigger as well as the heat, mind you. So when I get Botox now for the migraines. So I went, and when I got in the office, oh my God, it was like an oven and I was like choking and then I was overheating. So now my head hurts even worse. And I was like, it's not that cold outside. Why? Why
Where
is
are
this
you
so hot
located?
in
What
here?
state are you in?
I'm I'm in Missouri.
Mm.
So I don't know if you're familiar with Missouri and its love of just going back and forth, but there have been times where we've had winter, spring, fall, and summer all in one week. Like there was one week where it was 80 degrees and then the next week it dropped to 20. I'm sorry.
You're
No. Like
talking to a
first
Coloradan.
of all,
That's the norm here.
yeah, and like I've been here my whole damn life and I know this, but I'm still surprised every time it happens. And so this week we got up to 80 and then it went down to 60 and then the temperature's like going down again. And so I'm like, I'm never going to be able to breathe. It's fine. I've
Oh,
accepted that that's my fate.
that's so sad. Those
I always
allergies,
I
though,
always make
they
this
they get me
joke.
too.
Oh, I always make this joke with people who like don't have allergies or sinus problems. And I was like, please tell me, what is it like to never have to not be able to breathe? Tell me, please. I want to live vicariously because when I experience that, it's like the greatest day of my life. I'm like, I can breathe. Nothing hurts. It's so
It's a good
great. I
day.
can breathe, but then I'm breathing all of the shit outside.
Yes.
I dislike people who don't have allergies.
Same. I'm just like, ugh. Okay.
And I I actually had a manager who did not have allergies, so she could not understand like when I would get a sinus headache to the point where like she's like it's not that bad. Lady, like literally there is pressure in every aspect of my face. My gums hurt, my jaws hurt, and those already hurt because I have freaking TMJ. Like it's that bad.
Yes. I can sympathize because this past week, I've never experienced anything like that sinus infection, man. It just feels like your face is like big and it hurts. Your jaw
Yes.
hurts. Your ears are ringing. Oh my God, girl, my heart is with you if you go through that on a regular basis.
I will have a sinus infection or my sinus infection just never goes away. Unclear. But I will have a sinus infection at least 2 times a month throughout the entire year because
Ugh, that's
I'm not
horrible.
just allergic to spring. I'm literally allergic to everything all 12 months of the year. So when winter comes, I've got the mold and the mildew and the dust. And then summer comes and it's just what the trees and everything. But basically, when we did my allergy test and they gave me the results, they're like, so you're allergic to everything? Great. Earth. I'm allergic to Earth. Please get me off this planet.
Why?
Every time. So, you know, people are like, "Can you get outside?" I'm sorry. No. I mean, I could, but
You want me
no,
to
because I
die?
really
Sure.
just yeah, and it's like once it gets to a certain temperature, like I could wear a mask, right now if I like wanted to go outside, I could wear a mask and that would be helpful and I could probably do it. But once it gets to a certain temperature, I overheat at the slightest temperature increase. Like, please, no, I don't like being sweaty. And I, I'm always sweaty because I have stupid hyperhidrosis. And I'm just like, love that for me. And my nutritionist just told me about this new like deodorant or something. And she was like, I don't smell nice. I just don't produce odor. Ma'am, what is this? Because I am interested. I don't care about smelling like a floral garden. What I would prefer is just not to smell in any
Yeah,
capacity. But obviously, if you're sweating all the time, bacteria, whatever. God, this took a really weird turn, guys.
I'm here for it though. I'm like, you know what? I relate to all this. We're just humans.
Yeah, and so it's getting here today, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to try this out because I'm like, I just don't want to smell like, because I'll put deodorant on in the morning, obviously, but by the afternoon, depending on how much I sweat, now I smell like a locker room. And I'm like, I promise I showered, guys. I promise you
Yes,
I
I have
did.
the same issue.
So,
I
like,
just started using Native. Have you ever heard of the brand Native?
Native did not work for me.
Yes. I saw
Just,
this ad the other day and it was like within the first 15 minutes you feel and I was like that it stops working. Like it does not work. There I'm with you on the struggle, girl. I'm like, Lumi, I need help.
so I tried Lumi too, and I was really mad because I had such high hopes for it, and it was just not working. And so I was like, okay, but it's like I'll send you the link for it, and you can look into it, because it's like $8 for like a pack of two, and basically the way she
Oh,
explained it
okay.
to me is it's like a crystal and like you get it wet, you put it under the armpit, then you rinse it off because obviously you don't want to take bacteria from here to the other armpit. And then you do that and then you rinse it off before like you cap it. And it's supposed to prevent the bacteria that causes odor from growing. And that's exactly what I've been looking for my entire life.
Right. I could deal with like being
Um,
hot and a little sweaty. I just don't want to stink.
right. Because I had mentioned that to her. I was like, I'm so sweaty. And she's like, oh, so you need an antiperspirant. Those still don't work. I just need to not stink. That's my life goal here.
I've
I just
accepted
don't need to
it's
stink.
gonna be it's
So
gonna be
yeah, I'll
sweaty.
send you that link. Also, I'll put a link in the podcast description for anybody who else is interested.
Yes. Our sweaty girls and
Um,
guys listening.
it's just anybody out there who just, I got you. When I
Yeah.
find new things, I'm not a gatekeeper because I hate gatekeepers. Why would you not give me this good news? Like, what do you mean?
I hate that. I hate when people are
Um,
like, I was gonna gatekeep this. Like, no, you weren't. You're making a video.
yes, like what? I don't know. People are so funny. And I always want to know like why people do the things they do. I guess it's like the bipolar in me, like learning, like spending so much time like learning what bipolar was and like how it can affect a person, and then learning myself within that diagnosis. So now I just have this natural curiosity, like when I see people do things, why would you do that? I mean, like no judgment. I'm just curious, like the thought process behind this. And I have a friend who was like trying to figure out a thought process for someone, and I was like, girl, I wish I knew. I wish I could give you, because I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know what's going on, but you
Yeah.
know what? It's fine. It's
You know
fine.
what? Same. Sometimes I'm just like, why? Why'd you do that?
I do say that a lot of times when I do have to drive, and like,
Oh God.
so like I will see people that are there and I know that they can go, but they hesitate and then go. Why would you do that? You see that I'm going ridiculously fast unnecessarily. Why would you do that? Now I have to slam on my brakes, and I just because I have new brakes now doesn't mean that I want to use them like that.
Right.
But I'm like, why would you do that? I'm mad at you for that.
Bestie, what are you doing? Get it together.
It's so, yeah, it's just so funny. And like I am also like one of those people who like I give people probably sometimes way too much grace, because I do feel like at a certain point, like patience and grace, it doesn't run out. I want to say that in case my therapist ever listens, because she always tells me those things don't run out, and I just don't think that she is right, but whatever. Um, but like there's a certain point where like you have to protect yourself and put like a boundary in place. So like some people I have to stop giving grace and patience to. Like I'm
Mm.
not friends with some people because of that, because it's like y'all are exhausting. Like I can't keep going in these circles with you. And so it's really funny because I was like doing like this like inventory of like what type of coach I am. And like, because there's like the three, it's like wellness, relationships, and wealth. And it was like, you'd be really great at all of these. Thank you. Not helpful though. Not
Right.
helpful. Because how do I, but then I was going back to like thinking, I was like, oh my God, I have to be like one type of coach. No, you don't. You're a
You don't.
multifaceted human being.
No.
Do whatever you want. Um,
Do all of it.
So, yes. So I was helping a friend like look for a job and like stuff. And she's like, have you ever thought of career coaching? I was like, that is so sweet that you have this confidence in me. Stop that nonsense. But I do have a course that like I kind of like brainstormed called Wealth Creatrix. And I had asked like the people, I was like, here's kind of like the general outline, like what we would cover. Is this something that would be beneficial to you? Because I feel like the biggest part about being a baddie is not just owning yourself, but every aspect of your life, like touching it, like your career. Because I hate when people constantly, when they're coaching, like only train people for like growing a business. Not everybody wants to be a business owner. Some
Mm-hmm.
people just want to climb the corporate ladder. And if that's what you want, babe, I will help you. Like, let me help you get there in a healthy capacity. So I was like, I was like, baddies need good money. I was like, they need to get on top of that. Baddies need good career advice. Baddies need business advice. I was like, baddies need relationship advice, and not like just from like romantic, just like with themselves, with their family, with their friends. Like, how do I now have these boundaries, but also still show up with these people and not feel guilt and not make the boundaries like a threat. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
how do I make these boundaries like, listen, hard and fast, but like respect as you're like going through that process. Not saying don't let these people not follow your boundaries. That's not what I'm saying. It's just about how you approach things. And I think that's always important in any situation.
Yeah, and I think certain things are subjective. I have my
Yeah.
boundaries, even within my freelancing business. I'm like, I'm not working after this hour because clients will text me at like 8 p.m. I'm like, what are you? I'm not working. But, when it comes to
Right.
coaching, I was like, what are the elements that I needed? What do I need? I'm only human, like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sit here and
Yeah.
pretend that I'm perfect. I go through my ups and downs, and sometimes I'm depressed, sometimes I'm really happy, but that's everyone in life. Let's stop pretending.
Right.
And so when I stepped into coaching, I was like, what do I need, and what does everyone need as a human being? And that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
where I put my coaching into place with that in mind. But it's like you
Yeah.
say, I don't want to be just a label on something and that be it. I don't want to be for everyone because I can't help everyone, and I understand that, and that's okay. But
Right.
I want the opportunity to reach people in every way that I can, and whoever I can,
Right.
with
It's
boundaries.
basically, yes, it's basically like you have your experiences, you know what you can speak to, you know that those are the things you can help with, and
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be just one bucket. I'm an accountant by day, so I do like know how to make budgets and like have like some information that I've started learning about investing. But like also within that
What a
space, like yes,
baddie.
like I am not an expert in investments. However, I can give you these resources to kind of help you, and then we can work through them together, and like I can help make it make sense for you.
Yes, here's the
But
resources. Here's what it means.
I don't, yeah, why would you not do that? And
Hmm.
I don't know everything. Like I always say, I was like, I
Right.
don't really know anything. I really don't know anything. I just have a culmination of life experience and random things that I've picked up on the way. And I'm not saying that this is the only way. I am just giving you the blueprint that I followed that helped me, and it may not work for you.
Right. And if I don't know, let's
But
figure it out together. I'm here for you. Support,
yes, yes. And that's the important thing, where it's like within the membership, it's like here's the blueprint. But really it's just the foundation. Like here are the things
Hmm.
we need to figure
Yes.
out, but how can we figure them out in a way that is actually going to work for you? I don't, in like the materials and stuff, I don't typically put like too many things to like tell them what to do. It's more like I give them a lot of journal prompts to think through things, because once I have the answers to those questions, now I know which thing that I need to go next in order to do. So it's
Oh, hello.
my cats are fighting. I'm sorry.
Oh. I have cats too, so
So
I
I have
relate.
three. I have three. Minerva's the baby, and she's been here 4 years, guys, and they still don't like her. The older girls still do not like her,
Oh
and so
no.
Minerva just wants to play though, and so but they're like, we don't want to, and they're just mean old things, and I'm
Are
like,
you a Harry
don't you
Potter
hit
fan?
my
Is that
baby.
where that name comes
No, it was for Minerva the goddess.
from? Hmm.
I like I've got Loki because that is her personality of a Loki, and then we've got Cleopatra because that's she
Diva.
earned that name. Yeah, she really is. Like so like she doesn't want to be picked up, but she's just like, I mean, I'm not going to fight you, but please put me down. Girl.
She's a my terms
Just
kind of cat.
she really is, cuz like randomly she'll come up to you and she's like chirping at you, and I'm like, Oh, you want pets now? Okay, well, you didn't want pets
Yeah,
5
my girl
seconds
cat
ago.
is kind of the
Why are you
same
here?
way. And then whenever she comes up to me, I'm
Yeah.
like, I've been chosen.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
time.
But Minerva, she's my little baby. She's my little ride or die. She's always with me. She's the only one who snuggles with me. She gets really mad when like I lock her outside of the bedroom because she needs a haircut and my allergies are killing me, and so I can't
Mm,
have her like snuggling with me because I am allergic to cats. And I just remember my allergist. Any chance you'll get rid of the cats? No, no,
not my
just
babies.
yeah, just
I can't
yeah,
claim them on my
not
taxes,
happening.
but they're my babies.
Those are my babies. It's like having three toddlers and a teenager. It's so much fun around here. But she, I shave them because when they shed, the hair obviously gets everywhere, and I only have a problem when the fur gets in my face. And
Mm,
obviously, if she's laying in the bed with me, her fur is all over the place, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, sweet baby. I was like, but your appointment's not for 2 more days, and I'm gonna die, and I love you so much, and I don't want to get rid of you.
I know you don't
Um,
understand,
but
but
she's
I swear. I
right.
love you.
But she
You're killing
is
me.
banging on the door. Like I have never in my life felt so loved because she puts her little paw under the door and she's just rattling it. And I was like, please stop because I can't handle this. It's making my heart break. But yeah, she gets shaved 2 or 3 times a year because she grows really fast. Loki and Cleopatra don't grow, but I haven't been shaving them because they don't really come in my room anymore. So their fur is just kind of like all over my couch, which I always clean the couch because it's fabric anyway, like regularly. But they just, my cats are hilarious and I love it. And like people who are not, and like, don't get me wrong, like I want a puppy too. We just can't have a puppy in this townhouse. Like it's just not possible. We don't have a yard, and I don't think that it's fair if you have a puppy and they can't go run in a yard. That's not nice.
Yes.
So yeah, right.
Dog,
When
I'd
like
want
people
a
are in
yard.
apartments and yeah, like when people are in apartments and like they have these dogs, especially larger ones, I always feel so sad because I'm like, but he doesn't get to go run and play. Like where's he gonna get all his energy out? But like no shade, like I mean do what you want to do, but like for me personally I couldn't do it. The house I want to buy in Michigan, I don't know which house, like just the 18 that I've looked at, is gonna
On
have a
Zillow
yard so
at
my
3
puppy can
a.m.
go be free. And yeah, I get so many emails because like so the move is not happening till later this year, but like I've already gone and seen like the area that I want to live in, so like I know where these houses are kind of located based on like just being there. And I always save a house that I like. And I'm like, I know this is going to sell before it's time for me to buy the house, but I just need to know just in case something else comes up on the same street. Like, I can just kind of look around. And yesterday, four of the houses that I was really hoping weren't going to be sold and was just going to sit there magically wait for me sold. And I was like, that was my house, person.
Bitch.
Exactly. I was like, you bitch. And it's like I mean, I'm happy for you, but I'm really, really not. So
Right.
it's like I hope you stub your toe when you're trying to get in the door.
Hard side eye.
It's just
It's
like,
so
oh
funny
my
you
god.
say that because I
And
say that too. If someone
I'm
upsets
always
me, I'm like, stub your toe.
yeah. It's always like, you know what? I hope you stub your toe because stubbing your toe is really terrible. Like I don't want to wish ill upon you because I don't
Right.
need that bad karma in my life. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I feel like that I stub my toe just naturally because I exist. So I can share that with you. I can
Yep.
share that pain.
I'm a clumsy gal. I hit corners.
I swear these walls move. I have been here for I think 8 years, and I still run into the same walls. I still run into the same corners. And I'm like, that moved. That moved. Definitely that moved. But yeah, I trip on air, like
You are an air
just
sign.
exactly. Just
For
am like,
me,
what
it's
is
the freaking
happening?
bed frame that I always kick. So I've gotten into the point now where I
Uh,
like try to scrunch my toes when I'm walking by that area. I'm like, you're not gonna
oh
get
no.
me.
So I'm a clutter queen. So I have shit all over the place. And so sometimes it gets to a point where like I'm tiptoeing over things, and that's when I usually stub my toe. And then I'm like you are the only person to blame for this situation because you're
You
just
can't
picked up
even
your
be
shit.
mad.
Like, like every time it happens, I just am like, clean up your room.
And there's nothing like being
Oh my
angry at yourself. It's so embarrassing.
God. Right. It's just like, I feel like I ask myself and my friends like at least 7 times a day, why am I like this? Because I know why,
Mm,
but like also I'm still confused. Why am I like this?
yes.
Um, but yes, um, I don't know if like we've wrapped this up in a pretty little bow, but you know
I
what? That's fine.
I actually,
It's
just to touch on that really quick, I've asked my mom that before. I was like, "Why am I like this?" And she was like, "Cause that's how you are." I was like, "That's not helpful."
explain, mother.
I'm like, "You made me.
Elaborate.
What are you
Right. Like
thinking?"
this is your fault. Like whenever like my mom is like, "Why are you so petty?" Ma'am, because you are. Like I learned from the
Go look
best.
in
What
the
do you
mirror. Yes.
Yeah.
Same with my mom.
And like
We're kind of mirrors of each other.
yeah. Anytime my daughter does something, I'm like, oh, why are you like this? And then I follow it up with, because you're my child and you're just like me, but also still, why are you like this? So
Right.
it's always a
Learn
thing.
from me. Be better.
Oh my God. I know. It's like, I love how confident you are at this age because I wasn't, and I love that for you, but please do it to someone else because you're hurting my feelings because I hurt my feelings. I don't
I was
need an
listening to
extra
your
feeling hurt.
podcast from yesterday, and you were talking about your
Uh
daughter
huh.
and your guys' relationship, and I was like, I love that. My niece is a teen. I don't have kids, but I'm just like, I wonder how that teen dynamic is going because my sister's going through it, and I'm just like, ugh.
I guess I can thank my mother for this because I really wanted to have a better relationship with her. And so I've given her a lot of freedom and the capacity to explore. Like, safety has always been like the one thing I harp on, but everything else, like, fine, be free, but like, just tell me where you are. Like, I'm not one of those parents who has like her location like in like Life 360 or like anything like that, but I do have it like on Google Maps. And every time like she's at a friend's house and like they move to another house and she's like, can you come get me? Girl, I need an address. Like I don't know where I'm
Where are
going.
you?
She'll just be like, she's like, just it's next to Kenzie's house. Baby, there are so many houses on that street. Like that doesn't give me anything. She's like, but you have my location. I don't even look at your location. I don't think you understand. Your location is there if like you didn't get to work on time, like your Uber
Mhm.
driver decided to be like that's what I'm
It's
looking
not
at
to
your
keep
location.
tabs on
Otherwise,
you. It's for well
right. I was like,
being.
I don't need to keep tabs on you. You know the rules.
How old is
It's
your
just
daughter?
you know the rules. But she's 17. She'll be 18 in May.
Big girl.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And she had the audacity the other day. She's like, "You're just old, girl. I am only 20 years older than you.
Ah,
You need to settle down. You need to settle
rude.
down. Okay, I'm not old. She's very rude, but again, she gets it from me.
I'm
I
not old.
can't.
I'm just
It's like
wise.
yeah, right. I was like, listen, I'm older than you, but I'm not old. And she's like, well, your head always hurts and this always hurts. That's just because my body hates me.
Right.
So, I mean, I always tell people don't have children because this is the most stressful thing in my entire life to keep an entire human alive for at least 18 years. But also, like, if you do decide to have children, just give me a call because I would love to let you know, like, not saying this is what you have to do, but this is what I have now because I didn't do this then. So figure out what's going to work for you and your baby,
Hmm.
but just think about how that's going to look when they're 17.
Yes. Think of the
Because
future.
yeah, because we have such a terrible codependent relationship. Like I'm trying to work on that, but this kid will not respect my boundaries, and it's because we've never had any, and I'm trying to like fix a lifetime of things for her at
Hmm.
17. Like that's a lot of change, but I wouldn't change anything though. Like she's a great kid, she's really smart, but if I can be the wisdom for the future generation of parents, please ask me anything. I will be honest with you. I am not one of those people who's like, motherhood is the greatest gift in the world. Like, motherhood is great. I love my kid, but also, bro, I was tired my whole pregnancy. I have been tired since 2000. I am just tired. Like, I don't, it's
If you want
never
to be
ending and
perpetually
it's
tired,
hard.
have a kid.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who can see me, you cannot see how bad the bags under my eyes are currently because I put a lot of concealer on this morning because I was like, I told my friend yesterday, I was like, I look like a Victorian child with the plague. Like, that's what my eyelids are like looking like. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yes, me
But
all
yeah,
week,
oh
literally
my
in bed,
God.
just
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I can't, I don't want to exist anymore.
yes,
Take,
beam
just
me up,
take me at
Scotty.
this point. Yeah. That's so funny. Oh my God. Because I relate to that so much. It's like there are just days where I'm like I was like, listen, I'm not wanting to like unalive myself, but like I
Yes.
just don't want to exist in this state. So like could you just put me to sleep until we're done with it? I just
It's so funny. I feel the same way, and I do the same thing. And I was actually in therapy once, and she was like, "Have you, have suicidal thoughts or anything like that?" And I was like,
Right.
"Just in the millennial sense, just in the sense of like, I don't really want to die, but I'm
I
fed
just
up."
don't want to exist. My best friend, she said, those bags under your eyes are telling the world that you're tired of its shit. I mean, this is true. This is very
Preach,
true.
girl.
I was like, however, they like have levels and like I'm not like a super vain person. Like I think that I'm absolutely adorable in all of my phases. But like when
Gorgeous.
I look sick, like my eyes are sunken in and I'm like okay, like just for me, not for them, but like just for me, I want to feel like a little like maybe I've youthful slept. Like,
Yeah.
that
Even if it's a
18-year-old
facade,
sleeping.
even if I don't feel that way, I want to look that way.
Right. But again, like you said, like this goes back to being transparent. I'm not lying to y'all about like yeah, there's concealer on these eyes, guys. There is because there are bags under there. And you know what? I mean, I wear them with a badge of honor about every single day of the week, but sometimes I just want to look like it and because I'm never
I
going to
just want
feel
to
like it,
look
I don't
like
think.
I live under a bridge, like.
Right?
But like I was
I always
raised to
say I
get
was
up
like
and get ready, so like that's my curse.
I used to do that, but now that I'm working from home, I've really turned into like a trash goblin, like a beautiful trash goblin. Don't get me wrong, but like a trash goblin. As you can see, like I'm wearing this bright pink shirt because I was like, I need a new shirt. Like I need something that's going to be cute and it's going to push me outside of my comfort zone. But also, like, I'm looking for things that are going to showcase this tattoo because why not? Um, but when I put it on, I was like, God, you look hot. And then I was also like, I don't know if I can go outside in this. I'm not really sure. I'm not so sure anymore. I don't know. And my daughter's like, you look so good. And I was like, okay, teenager approved.
Yes, there you go. I love that. She hyped you up. She's a hype man.
She is like, when we were in there, like picking up shirts, she was like, no, no. And I'm like, which one would you pick? And she picks this up. And I'm like,
Comfort zone.
it's feeling not yeah, like it's not feeling like me anymore. Like, listen, I love a good slutty dressing, okay? But like this is so tight. Like I don't typically wear my shirts like super tight. Um, and that's not because like of my belly or anything like that. It's just because I don't like being constricted.
Yes,
But it's actually like super stretchy and comfy. I
it
like
looks
it. And it was
comfortable.
like
You look
six
comfortable, and
dollars.
I'm happy you showed up as your authentic self. You look great. I love the tattoo. I love it. It's
Thank
all
you.
working, girl.
Thank you. You're so beautiful too. And I just like the very first time that I saw your face, I was like, I knew she was a goddess. We do not deserve to look at her face, like just basking in her glory. I love that. I think I was talking to someone, I don't know, maybe I put it in my copy, but people sometimes are like, so you're very like full of yourself because you call yourself the HBIC. I'm not the HBIC of other people. I'm the HBIC of my goddamn life, and that's what I'm trying to get people
Hmm.
to be. Like, be the head bitch in charge. Like, take ownership for your life and stop living it for everyone else, like you said earlier. So, yeah,
That's
but
funny that you say that because when I saw your coaching thing, I thought that was brilliant. I was like, yes, empower them to be the head bitch in charge. I love that.
it was a little nerve wracking because I kind of was like, is this a good idea? How is this going to end up? Like, are
Mhm.
people going to be turned off? But then I was like, what are they going to do when you get on the phone and you drop fuck like 17 times in one sentence because you don't know any other words? Like,
Yes, me in
I have the
therapy.
vocabulary. Yeah, like I have the vocabulary of a fifth grader, you guys. That's why I didn't take the SAT because they were like, oh, you need to know words. Words are hard, okay?
The
Words are
fuck I
hard. I
do.
don't know how to. Yeah, I was like, listen, next. Like people say like things to me and I should know the meaning of it. And I'm like, I don't know what that word means. Why would you say that to me? Like I
Well,
appreciate you
tell
thinking
me
I'm
what it
smart enough to know
means.
that word.
You know,
But yeah, like what is this? Like stop using, dictionary words. I don't have them. And they're not like, pretentious about it. It's just like they use a word that most people at 38 should probably have come across at some point, but me, I ignore things. Things stay in my brain long enough for me to need them, and then I toss them away
you hold
because
what's
I don't
important,
have.
and that's all that matters.
You seen those commercials with Jennifer Aniston for? I think it's for Uber Eats. And like the theme is she's like, sometimes you have to forget things to remember things. And so she runs into Ross and he's like, hey, what's going on? He was like, we worked together for 10 years. She was like, do I know you? And then like she walks away. And then there's another one where a girl gets the Rachel haircut and she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, it's the Rachel. She's like, oh, is that your name? She's like, no. And so that's what came to my head. I was like, listen, in order for me to remember the things I care about, I can't be bothered with those things. I can't do it. Do you have anything that you would like to add? Tell the people where to find you, how we can bask in your glory from here on out.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for giving me the space to say, my piece here. I'm just so happy to finally have came on here. I'm glad you're feeling better and we got this conversation. I hope we could do it again, dive into other topics. Really, whatever you want to talk about, I'm all game for that.
Whatever you want to talk about. Like it doesn't honestly, this is not my podcast. Like this is everyone else's podcast. Like I'm just here and you guys tell me what you want to talk about.
Yes.
Um
I'm very
and
much shoot the
it,
shit kind of girl. So, I'm here for it. I love the chaos. I love the unstructuredness. We don't have to be we're just here, two gals talking.
just chit chatting, hanging out, having a little girl party.
But about me
Um
for the most part, I solve problems for a living, and I give people space to be who they are, however they want to be without judgment. And if you're looking for that, you can find me online, LizaMartinez.com, or you can reach out to me. We can start a conversation. I think that's where it starts, is just starting the conversation, even if we just build a friendship. I'm always about making connections and, trying to bring value and quality to people's lives.
I love that so much. Well, I just want to thank you all for listening today, and I will have social media links for you guys in the description so that you can find us and follow. Well, I'm signing off. It's me, Selene, the HBIC and HBIC coaching, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you, baddies. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.